Welcome everyone. Welcome to be my guest. I am your host Hamsha Naidu and I have the pleasure of welcoming Laura Hackle. Welcome. Laura is a vibrational energy healer and artist, wife, mother of 3, writer and the bringer of lights to our planet. Laura can be found spending her days between her ceramic studio and her healing studio, where she delights in helping people make a deeper connection to their souls and to experience the deeper inner wisdom and beauty that exists in the layers, textures and patterns within. Today, I am going to talk to Laura about her healing bowls, more especially crystal bowl healing. Why crystal bowl healing?
So I have to say the crystal bowls really picked me. I had gone through a shaman training course and I was helping my instructor teach another level of course, and at one point she said, and now Laura's going to play the bowls. And my internal voice went, I'm going to do what? Like, I don't know how to do that. And I just stepped up and sat down, and then I was in love. So I often wish that I had little smaller baby bowls, but they don't have the sound and the volume and the pure healing capability.
Okay. So I guess that's answered a little bit to my second question. What attracted you to the healing bowls?
Yeah, so what I love about them is that they work at such a high frequency that they are able to heal people without you consciously having to know what's happening. And I think that's a freeing thing that everybody could use.
Okay, so what exactly are they, crystal bowls, and how do they work?
So they are big bowls made out of crystal, and so they have the resonance of crystal, and they work in your vibrational field. So you have a physical body, and then you have an energetic body. And what happens is that, you know, we go through life and we get things stuck in our energy field.
Right.
And so the vibration of the crystal bowl, if you imagine your body's vibrating here and the crystal bowl's vibrating here, so it raises your vibration.
Oh, that's very interesting. And almost everything works with energy, doesn't it? I mean,
everything.
I guess we all need to learn all our different energy places to help get that going. Yeah. So how or where do we pick up lower energy vibrations from?
Oh, that's a great one. So the higher vibration energies, I'll start with that, are joy and happiness and gratitude. But all of us go through our day, right? And something happens. Somebody cuts us off and we get angry or we get upset or ashamed. And all of those vibrations are lower energy. And you can tell because when something like that happens to you, like if you can remember the last big argument you were in, you didn't walk away from the argument most likely and forget about it. You walked away from the argument thinking about the argument maybe hours, maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe years later.
Right, and people tend to dwell on the negative side of it, I guess, and that brings the energy.
And so these thought patterns are energy that gets stuck in your energy field. And even when you're like, okay, I am so done with that argument, you realize you're not, because it's still hanging out there in your field.
Right. So is there a health benefit to having your energetic body cleared?
There is. And what I see time and time again is that disruptions in our energy field, it happens in our energy field before it makes its way into our body. So when we have illnesses, illnesses are almost always aligned with something that's out of alignment in our energy. So if we actually take care of our vibrational field and clear it, like instead of waiting till we're sick to go to the doctor, if we can clear it beforehand, it's a lot easier to clear at the point that it's out here than when it's in your physical body.
That's true. Well, maybe someday I should get someone who knows how to clear those energies without, within themselves.
Right.
I know Reiki is one of those things, right? So people need to, but anyway, not to get out of the topic or anything, but it's, it sounds, crystal bowls like a really marvelous energy healing.
Right. Well, the other benefit that they have is that many people experience it as being very relaxing. And so the sound of the bowls take up all the space in the head for thoughts.
Right.
And so they can really connect at a deep level. In fact, some people connect so deeply they go unconscious. And they'll say they're sleeping, but the reality is that the healing is done at a deep level. And so they can't be present, or their mind would be like, oh, don't touch that, I need to be in control. So it does work at a very deep level. So like releasing stress, or people often walk out of a crystal bowl session and you can see that the energy has shifted all around their neck and shoulder because they've given up burdens that they've been carrying and they don't need to carry them anymore.
Right. So, I guess, can you share some examples of what people have experienced in or after a crystal bowl session?
Yeah, so after a session it's fun to read my email.
Okay.
Because people will tell me, I've had people tell me everything from a problem or a challenge they were wrestling with suddenly became clear and they knew exactly the path to take and it opened up before them. I've had people tell me that they have gotten unexpected checks in the mail as they were asking for abundance, and who doesn't want unexpected checks in the mail?
Oh yes, yes.
There was a woman who came and she had had a friend who had been the month before and had been having trouble getting pregnant. And she didn't come back because she was now pregnant. So she's like, okay, I'm done, I'm pregnant. So it's just fun to see. I've had a woman who was going through divorce feel like she was actually having all of this hurt around her heart. She said, I could literally feel the hurt being yanked away, like I didn't need to carry it anymore.
That is so marvelous.
Yeah.
So how many bowls do you have?
So I have 7 bowls in total. And they align themselves with the different energy centers of the body.
The main energy centers of one's body.
Yeah.
And are you going to demonstrate a little bit for us today?
I would love to. I would love to.
So do the bowls play the same each time you play them?
They actually don't. I assign the bowls a whole personality, and every time I play, they play for the energy in the room. So there's always a different set of people gathered. And even if we've got the same, say, 10 people together on 2 different days, the energy would be different because our energy is always changing and shifting.
That is true.
And so what I find is there's always a reason that all of us are together. So we'll have a common thread we're working on, if it's maybe standing in your power or opening your heart or something like that. But then each person has their own individual experience too of what they need to get out of it.
Shall we?
Yeah, we shall. So I'm going to invite everyone at home while I play to just get into a comfortable position and breathe in, maybe through your nose and out through your mouth.
Sorry, Laura, before you start playing, do you want to explain how exactly you play the bowls, and then maybe you can demonstrate?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So the bowls play similar to how you would play around a wine glass.
Okay.
So you go around them with a striker, or they play like church bells.
Oh, okay.
And if you play in the counterclockwise direction, you're releasing energy.
Oh, okay.
And when you play in the clockwise direction, you're inviting energy in.
Okay.
So one of the interesting things is that we have energy fields, and they're often filled with things that aren't serving us anymore.
Right.
So that thing that we really want to have happen in our life, we don't have any room for it. So what we usually do is start by emptying out, clearing out some room.
Right.
So then you can bring in what you really want.
Okay, so now that you told us that, maybe...
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm going to invite everybody to do is to just get themselves in a comfy spot. Take a couple breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to just say to yourself after me, I'm just going to do a quick protection, and it goes, you can say it right in your head. I am the light.
I am the light.
The light is within me.
The light is within me.
The light moves throughout me.
The light moves throughout me.
The light surrounds me.
The light surrounds me.
The light protects me.
The light protects me.
I am the light.
I am the light.
And feel yourself being bathed in a white, white light. And in your next breath, I want you to invite in your spirit guides, your higher power, whether that's God, the angels, Mother Nature, whatever you believe in. And just ask them to make clear to you what's a burden you might have been carrying around that you no longer need to carry. Could be small, could be big. Just breathe into that question. And when you know what that is, I want you to just give yourself permission to let it go. And if you're not sure what it is, just give permission to whatever happens will be in your highest good. I invite you to check in, and if you feel like you have a lot still laying around to let go of, just imagine tying helium balloons to all of that energy and just letting it float away gently, and instead filling yourself with pure white light. So you can thank your spirits, thank your spirit guides, thank your higher power, and ask them to continue to raise your vibration, to bring in joy and peace and happiness at every turn.
So do the bowls play the same each time you play them?
Yeah.
That is like so peaceful. I can still feel it resonating. It's so beautiful, really. Yeah. Does everyone experience energy the same way?
Actually, that's a great question. And so if you think about, I'm very kinesthetic, so I feel it up and down my body, or I'll have goosebumps. I know a lot of people see. They might see in black and white, or they might see whole pictures unfolding. I have a woman who hears. She gets dance music in her head every time I play. And it's sort of funny to think about. And then the other thing that happens is that people sometimes experience energy as a knowing. Like you have this thought and you think, well, is that my mind or is that my intuition? Because we all have so many voices in our head that it sometimes takes a while to know.
Right.
And what I've learned is that your intuition is the kind, gentle, sweet voice. It's never angry or upset. It's always there to help.
I guess if we observe, that is very true. Yeah. That is remarkable. So what did you notice about how the bowls played?
So what I noticed is that they were asking, a lot of the heart chakra bowl played quite a bit. And so it was like we were asking to release hurts that we've carried around in our hearts. Like at some point we decide that we're hurt and we sort of tuck ourselves back in. And what was being brought forth was a whole bunch of energy to open ourselves up and to know that it's okay to let our lights shine in the world and to open our hearts, because there is a lot of love for us.
So just in case we missed some information, is there anything else you want to add about the energy healing and the bowls and how it's made? Do you make them or do you get them?
No, I actually buy them. There's a website, Wisdom Light, that sells awesome bowls in hundreds of styles and shapes. And mine are rather big, and I like the resonance, so they have a deeper...
beautiful, yeah.
And I actually, it's funny when people come to a crystal bowl session, some of them like to have their feet to the bowls, some of them like to have their head to the bowl, some of them like to be really close, some of them like to be on the other side of the room. And after I play, I can ask a room full of people, I've done this, like, okay, so who thinks the bowls were kind of loud tonight? And 5 or 6 people, 7 or 8 people will raise their hand, and I'll say, okay, so who thinks the bowls were kind of soft tonight? 5 or 6 people will raise their hands.
So different people actually hear it at different pitch?
They hear it differently. And
oh,
so,
really? So what does it mean when you hear it really high and loud?
So what it means,
because I think us in the studio today said it was loud, right?
Yeah, so what happens is that it means that it's coming up against blocks in your energy field. So some people will say, oh, I really heard it in my right ear, but I didn't hear it in my left. And it's because there's some energy blocking you from hearing in this ear. Like maybe there's an energetic filter, so you don't hear everything that's being said. And so that's why it will bounce up against that. So when people hear...
So when your energies are blocked, then you hear it louder, is that what you're saying? Or you hear it deeper?
You would hear it louder.
Louder.
It would be more intense. Or you might have had, even in this one, a sensation of like something happening in your hand and then moving out. So that's like energy moving, unblocking.
Oh, very interesting.
So it's the vibration hitting up against the energy. And what's cool about it, like I call it magic, because it's in the part that we can't see.
Right.
It exists, but we can't see it, so we feel like it doesn't exist.
I can quite identify with that. So yeah. So then, I thought I read somewhere something about you have some feeling in some knee or something, which you didn't want to elaborate too much about. But
yeah. Well, I'll say I have a signal for me when I know that I have a need that I'm not bringing up.
Okay.
So I grew up, I have 3 brothers. None of us are 2 years apart. And I get now as a mom, like that you have to do what everybody's doing. But as a child, I felt like the only way to do that was to kind of put my needs aside. So I made everybody else happy. Like that was my job. And that's fine. And then you get to be...
I think there's a lot of people that way, right? You want to put everybody else's needs before yours. So.
That's right. And there's something that says that, right? Like take care of everyone else and then you get to be happy first, especially if you're a mother.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like you have to put everybody else first and you're last. And the challenge is when you get to a certain stage in life, you realize, I got to a stage where I realized I didn't even know what my needs were. And that was scary because my husband would say, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. So I would say, well, what does my friend Di want? And I'd think of 5 things. So then I could say, oh, well, I don't want that and that, but I want this or some version of that. So what happens with me is when my left knee starts hurting, then I know that I have a need that I'm not speaking, because that's where the energy is. And the other thing that happens is...
Fingertips?
No, it's like when you get to a certain age, right? So my knee didn't start hurting till I was in my 30s.
Okay.
Because every time I would energetically stuff my needs down, there was room. But when I got to be in my 30s, there wasn't room in my energy field there anymore to stuff. And so it actually started to be a pain. And what I have learned is if I don't release that somehow, then it turns into something worse, right? Then it turns into a knee injury, which...
Yes, and then later on you may have to go and get knee replacement.
Right, so when my knee starts hurting, I think, okay, what's my need? What is it, and how am I going to get it met? And it's always there. So my knee will tell me often before my head will tell me.
Okay, and then do you heal yourself with the crystal
I do.
balls?
So one of the benefits of what I do is that I get the same benefits from playing and being in that energy.
So right at the beginning of this segment, I said you are now the #1 author. I'm probably not wording it very right, but maybe you can enlighten us more about what you...
So yes, I'm an author with 14 other authors in the book, The Energy of Healing. And it just got released yesterday or this morning. And so...
So it's released in June?
Yes, in June.
Okay,
yes,
June 21st.
June 2nd in 2015. And it made it to the #1 on the Amazon new releases list today.
So what is that book all about?
So it's a...
I mean, the topic tells me, but just checking.
Yeah, so it contains everything from the energy of healing for how do you heal emotional wounds, how do you heal ancestral wounds, what is healing, what does it mean? Like I used to think that healing was a cut, right?
So I think you want to play us out a little bit with the bowls, or shall I finish it? Or shall I? No, I think maybe play for like 2 minutes or so, and then we can maybe get out.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah,
no, that's a great idea.
So
we'll let the bowls say our goodbyes.
I mean, eventually I will too, but yes, thank you. how can people reach you if they want more information?
Yes, so they can reach me at artfulhealings.com. And I also play the bowls locally here in Acton at the Revolution Community Yoga, so they have me on their schedule.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Laura.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to learn about crystal bowls and the ability to heal. And it was good to hear about your book too. I wasn't aware that you had the book until just yesterday. And you're welcome to come in anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed the vibrations.
Thank you for joining me. From your host, Hamsha Naidu, from this show, Be My Guest. I sign off until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.